Welcome to Infidelity Secret. Your support is everything to us. 90% of you haven't subscribed yet, so please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so we can keep bringing you amazing content. Also, we'd love to know where you're watching from. Leave your city in the comments. Now, let's dive into today's tale. I woke up to the sound of my phone vibrating on the nightstand, its soft hum drilling into my already aching skull. My head was pounding, my throat dry, my body tangled in sheets that didn't smell like home. A sinking feeling spread through my chest as I took in my surroundings. Unfamiliar walls, dim morning light filtering through curtains I didn't recognize. Then I saw him. The broad shoulders, the strong jawline, the slow, steady rise and fall of his chest as he slept beside me. No. I squeezed my eyes shut, my heart slamming against my ribs. This had to be a mistake, a nightmare. But when I opened them again, the reality remained, undeniable and devastating. I was in bed with Liam, my fiancé's best friend. Memories from last night crashed over me in pieces. Laughter, clinking glasses, Liam's warm hand on my back as I stumbled. The way his eyes lingered on mine just a little too long. The heat, the tension, the moment we stopped thinking and let everything else fade away. Oh God, I felt sick. Panic surged through me as I bolted upright, clutching the sheet against my chest. My stomach twisted, bile rising in my throat. This wasn't just a mistake. This was betrayal. And Nick, my fiancé, my future, the love of my life, had no idea. Neither did Liam's girlfriend. I scrambled for my clothes, my hands shaking as I yanked my dress over my head. My phone buzzed again, and my breath caught when I saw Nick's name on the screen. Nick. Morning, love. How's your head? You were pretty tipsy last night. Hope you slept well. A lump formed in my throat. I could barely breathe. Liam stirred beside me, letting out a low groan. Then, suddenly, he stilled. I could feel the moment it hit him. Oh, fuck, huh, he whispered. I turned to see his face, pale, eyes wide with horror. He ran a hand through his tousled hair, his expression shifting from groggy confusion to full-blown panic. Tell me this didn't happen, he said, his voice rough. I swallowed hard. I don't think we can. Silence stretched between us, thick with regret. This can't happen again, I whispered. Liam nodded, exhaling sharply. No one can ever know. I grabbed my bag and fled. By the time I got home, my nerves were shredded. My hands trembled as I turned the key in the lock, forcing myself to act normal. Nick was waiting for me, his warm smile instantly twisting the knife of guilt deeper into my chest. Hey you, he said, pulling me into a hug. How are you feeling? I forced a weak laugh. Hungover. I think I had one too many drinks with Liam. Nick chuckled. Yeah, he texted me this morning, said you crashed on his couch. My stomach clenched. Liam had covered for me. Yeah, I said quickly, forcing a smile. It was a long night. Nick studied me for a moment, his brow furrowing. You sure you're okay? I nodded too fast. Of course. I was lying, and I prayed to God he'd never find out. But secrets like this, they don't stay buried forever, and I had no idea that the truth was already unraveling. The guilt clung to me like a second skin. Every time Nick kissed me, touched me, looked at me with those loving eyes, I felt like I was suffocating. Liam and I agreed to act like nothing happened, to erase that night from our memories. But erasing it didn't mean it never happened. And then, the first crack appeared. It was a Wednesday night when I got the text. Liam, we need to talk. Now panic shot through me. I hesitated before replying. Me, no, we agreed to forget it. Liam, I know, but we have a problem. My hands trembled as I typed. Me, what kind of problem? Liam, I think someone knows. My stomach dropped. Liam and I met in a secluded parking lot that night, shadows stretching long under the flickering streetlight. He was pacing, running a hand through his hair when I pulled up. What the hell is going on? I demanded, stepping out of the car. Liam turned to me, his face pale. Someone left this in my mailbox. He handed me a small envelope. My breath hitched as I opened it. Inside was a single photo, a photo of us, together, in bed. My vision blurred as I stared at it. The grainy black and white image showed just enough. My face turned toward Liam, his arm draped over me. Oh God. My hands shook as I flipped it over. Scrawled in messy black ink were 3 chilling words. Tell them, or I will. I gasped, pressing a hand over my mouth. Who would do this? Liam's jaw tightened. I don't know, but we need to find out before this ruins everything. My heart pounded. My mind raced with possibilities. Had someone seen us that night? Followed us? Or... I inhaled sharply. Nick, I whispered. What if he already knows? Liam exhaled through his nose. Then we're screwed. Neither of us noticed the second shadow watching from the darkness. And we had no idea the worst was yet to come. I barely slept that night. Every time I closed my eyes, the image of that black and white photo burned into my mind. By morning, my paranoia had taken over. I kept checking my phone, half expecting another message. Another threat. But there was nothing. At least, not yet. Liam and I agreed to act normal. Until we figured out who was behind this, we couldn't risk raising suspicion. But then something happened that changed everything. It was Friday evening when Nick called. Hey babe, he said, his voice light, but something felt off. I need you to meet me at the brew house. There's something I want to talk about. My stomach twisted. What's wrong? I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. Nick hesitated for a fraction of a second. Just meet me there, okay? Love you. I barely managed to whisper, love you too, before he hung up. I stared at my phone. My hands felt clammy. Had he found out? When I arrived at the brew house, my heart was hammering in my chest. Nick was already there, sitting at a corner booth. His fingers tapped against the wooden table as he stared at his phone. I slid into the seat across from him. Hey! He looked up, smiling, but it didn't reach his eyes. Hey! Silence stretched between us. Then he exhaled heavily. I have to ask you something, and I need you to be honest with me. My breath caught in my throat. This was it. Nick leaned forward, his blue eyes piercing. Is there something going on between you and Liam? I froze. Every muscle in my body screamed at me to lie, to deny, to make this all go away. But before I could say anything, Nick slid something across the table. A second envelope, identical to the one Liam had received. I swallowed hard, forcing myself to open it. Inside was another photo, another angle of that night. Nick's voice was eerily calm. Someone sent it to me this morning. My vision blurred. I could barely breathe. Nick folded his hands on the table, watching me. So, I'll ask you again. His voice turned ice cold. Are you cheating on me? I gripped the edges of the photo, my pulse pounding in my ears. My throat was dry and my mind raced, trying to find an escape. Nick's stare bore into me. He wasn't just angry, he was hurt. And I had 2 choices: lie or tell the truth. I swallowed hard. Nick, Before I could finish, the door to the brew house swung open and Liam walked in. My stomach dropped. His eyes found mine immediately. Then he spotted the envelope in front of Nick and froze. Nick turned, following my gaze. His jaw clenched. Oh, look who decided to show up. Liam slowly walked over, his expression unreadable. Nick? He greeted stiffly. Then his gaze flickered to me. What's going on? Nick chuckled, but there was no humor in it. I think you already know. He grabbed the photo and held it up between 2 fingers. You were there that night, weren't you? Liam didn't answer. Nick slammed his fist against the table. Just tell me the damn truth. The entire cafe went silent. Liam sighed, running a hand through his hair. It's not what you think. Nick let out a bitter laugh. Oh, really?